dental insurance.
The same, yeah. I had the same problem recently with dental insurance. I pay my cut, then they short pay the dental company, and they're calling me back. I'm like, go work it out with them. you got my money up front.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton, rode into the woodlands. We picked up our group at the Alden Village Center, headed out on Research Forest, then we took Honea-Egypt Community Road into Honea. We took Rabon Chapel, South Pine, Mill Route with 2854. We stopped at Taco Corner in Montgomery. Off camera, we went up 149, went through Mount Pleasant in the forest and came straight down into Montgomery, then took the historic route to Spring Branch Road. We met Mo in the forest, so it was very interesting off camera. We had a lot of playing going on. We stopped in Keenan at the store and continued through the Grand Lake Estates to Honea-Egypt Community Road back into the woodlands. I think you will like the clips we got for you. Basically focused on a lot of steady efforts. I was feeling good, so I did a lot of pulling early in the ride just to kind of improve my fitness.
They complain that the office didn't file their paperwork correctly.
Yeah, it's like I said, go work it out with them. I paid my cut.
They're thinking they blame it on you.
They said, no, when it's short pay, you have to cover it. Yeah. You know, so we have to change homeowners insurance every year because they're increasing every year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And now they don't want to cover stuff. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we're talking about insurance.
We change every year, man. They go up every year. I have no
industry in
loyalty.
the U.S.
It's just in our pockets.
They take your money, and when it's time to cover stuff, they got all these restrictions that you didn't know about.
Yeah, we can lower
We can
just
lower
a
your rate.
rip-off.
Yeah.
You can lower it and not pay.
Yeah, exactly. You need it. Yeah, it's like, and they don't even put stuff in there. You find out when it's time to use it.
They take your money. There's a movie Chris Rock made called Heaven. Not Heaven Can Wait. His version of Heaven Can Wait called Down to Earth.
They said 30% at I think 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. So don't worry about that.
There's no rain. But anyway, while I was talking about the movie,
it's gonna be hot.
Down to Earth by Chris Rock, he talked about. He said insurance. It's like in case stuff happens. So if nothing happens, do you get your money back? No, they just keep it, and then very hesitant to pay out. We're on Research Forest Boulevard, the Woodlands, Texas. So I learned recently that if you have a house and your roof is older than, let's say, 15 years, and you have a storm, the insurance does not cover your roof because it's old. It's close to the life expectancy of the roof. So I'm like, what's the point of having insurance? It's just all these little caveats they put in there. They call fine print that nobody knows about, but they have no trouble taking your money.
Once you got to cross that.
At this point in the ride, we're on Research Forest Boulevard going towards Egypt Road. We're going to be going north on Egypt. It's 28 Celsius and it's muggy. So we roll out earlier. We're doing a shorter ride this week. We're doing a metric century because we want to make sure that we avoid the hottest part of the day. We're back into triple digits temperatures, and so we're riding early and getting back early. We probably got back around 10:20 a.m. The ride was over at that point. Maurizio gets up even earlier. Usually he'll clip in like 4:49 in the morning, and then he'll ride, mostly during the week and probably on the weekend also. But he gets out early and rides, and then he's done early, so he doesn't have to deal with the hottest part of the day, and he can still get 2-3 hours in, So he's out there already, and we're going to come across him off camera, and he'll be coming south in the forest. He probably did the reverse because he's familiar with our route. He's on the board as well. So we picked him up in the forest, and he joined the group. And then Jerry and another guy also joined us at Taco Corner. Usually we pick up riders, and sometimes we lose riders at Taco Corner, depending on what people want to do. but this is a good approach to just kind of keep the ride short so we wouldn't be out after lunch. That's when it really gets hot. That's Kenny rolling up to the front. I'm wearing Rafa's latest iteration of their hot weather jersey. They call it the lightweight, the Pro Team lightweight jersey. This colorway is gold and chartreuse. The letters are in chartreuse. And I really like the fit. I'm going to make a video of it. I mean, I haven't reviewed Rafa products in a while, but I'm going to make one because there are some nice changes to put in there that I kind of want to introduce to the channel. I love the way it fits better than the older flyweight. I don't know if this is their replacement of the flyweight, but it's just as light, and I think it has a better fit, you know, an updated fit. They made some nice little modifications, so to speak. So as time permits, I'll roll that video. I will try to get it out this week. But you want to wear your lightest stuff when it's very hot. Once it gets above 30 C, you need to lighten up your fabrics. This is the FM 1488. We're in Egypt, Texas, which is on the edge of the Woodlands, Texas. It's my brother there. That's John Z. John Clement Champoussin is in the Asos RS line. There's Laura. This guy's name is Richard Lamb. He hadn't been around in a while. He's a experienced rider. He hadn't been in the group rides and so forth. So it was nice to see him. We chatted a little bit in the parking lot. And so at one of the stops, he looked very red in the face, and I walked over to him. I said, "You must have been inside all day." And he said, "Yeah, I was on jury duty." So when you're inside in AC all day and then you come to ride your bike or to go run or whatever, the body takes your blood, rushes it to the skin to enhance your perspiration. So that's what happens, and then it puts a lot of pressure on you because you're not used to being out in it. And that's kind of what, you know, I noticed at the store. And he said, "Yeah, I was indoors all week," because normally he's out riding, you know, and out. I think he works outside to where he's not sitting in an office. So it does affect you. So if you're in AC all the time, I intentionally, where I work, I turn off my AC and I run fans and use just airflow because I want to get used to the warm weather. I call it warm because I'm in the shade and I run like eight different fans. So it's like at the beach. So it's nice. But if I were running AC, I would have problems on these rides. I have an AC unit in the area. I just didn't turn it on because I think it's just better to acclimatize myself, because I'm able to deal with this by getting used to it. That's what you must do. Go out gradually, drink a lot of fluids, and let yourself get used to being out in it. You know, so even when you're used to it, you don't want to go out in the hottest part of the day. Like around here, it's probably from, I would say, maybe 1 or 2 to like 6. You know, it's just very hot. I think the birds have left. Well, the birds in near where I live, because I used to have the little birds chirping in the morning to wake me up, and it's been quiet the last month. I told my wife about it. She's like, that's in your mind. I was like, I believe they left. They used to have a nest near the back gate, and I just don't hear them in there. They used to be, you know, talking throughout the day. The birds were chirping and so forth. I think they went up north. They're like, forget you guys. We'll come back in the fall. There's still some birds around, but just the ones in my yard, I think. And they left. It's just so hot. And it's funny, but I was outside doing some washing, you know, cleaning and stuff. And there were no mosquitoes. It was like 8:30 at night, which the sun is setting at that point almost. Usually they're buzzing you and they want to take bites. No. Even the mosquitoes are having challenges. I don't think they're hatching. I don't know. Maybe it's just too hot. But I noticed, I told my wife when I got back inside, I said there were no mosquitoes, because she's very sensitive to that bites. So you have to pay attention to what's going on in your area. The world is really weird right now. It's hot in France. Those of you who are watching the tour, very hot. And then on the northeastern part of the U.S., we're having floods. You know, my foot came out. I think I was messing with my shoe or something. I twisted my foot on that corner, and it came out of the things out of the pedals. We're on the open road, Fishcreek Boulevard. So we're gonna go left because we're going on Honea-Egypt Community Road, but Abby's up there thinking we're going straight, which confirms that these guys are not looking at the map. You know, because I take the time to do the route. Paul calls out to them. It's like they're not looking at the route. I mean, you at least glance at it, get an idea, you know. I wanted us to do this route going out early in the morning because this road is so much quieter in the morning, especially for a good sized group. This is the best time to do it. You know, coming back, the route called for us to use the neighborhoods, and we end up using the hill that we're going to go down in a few kilometers. In about 5 kilometers, we end up coming back up that one. But I like this road because something about it just makes you want to work. And we've done Fishcreek the last couple of weeks, so this mixes it up, get us out of town. You see how well that jersey fits. The current flyweight, this is the lightweight. The current flyweight does not grab my waist like this one does. What Rafa has done on this iteration, which they call the lightweight, I have not gotten them the answer whether this replaces the flyweight, but it might as well because it's doing the same thing. They added an elastic band inside the fabric. That's what's keeping that thing looking really neat. The other one, the other version, they didn't have a solid elastic band. They just had a smaller 5mm band in there, not as robust. So they added a more robust. They made nice little tweaks, which is kind of nice. You know, you already got a great product. Why keep reproducing the same stuff? Improve it, tweak it. And that's what they've done over here. Because I really loaded up the pockets as usual. You can see how the pockets are supporting what I have in there almost as well as their Pro Team jersey. The Pro Team jersey is for mild weather, in my opinion. That's kind of what they state on their site. Their Pro Team jersey is really for milder weather, meaning mid-80s Fahrenheit, so up to 30 C. Once it gets above 30 Celsius, that Pro Team jersey is warm. Same thing with their training jersey, the Pro Team training jersey. They're warm, and so once it gets above 85, I don't wear them. They're just too hot. I wear all the lighter stuff that lets air go through, because when we stop at the store, we look like somebody has poured water on us because of the high humidity in our area. We're drenched. I mean, usually my socks are soaked. You know, when I get home, I explained earlier, I have to take out the insoles and clean them and air them out. Otherwise, you get funky shoes. So because of the hot weather, I've been doing very small loads, because I wash my clothes after every ride. Because it's just, if you keep them, they smell. You know, I get home wet. The clothes are wet. The good thing about it, when you're coming south, like when we're coming back on this ride, the wind uses the sweat on your body and it keeps you cool, that evaporative cooling. So that then it dries you off. So, you know, coming south, we dry off. But going north, we get the taco. We're soaked. Myself, Paul, you know, not everybody sweats like we do, but I sweat a lot. I found that I'm drinking a lot more. You know, it's good for the body. My body is continuing to lean out. The riders were commenting, man, you look lean, you look leaner. If you lose any more weight, you're gonna blah, blah, blah. You know, Mike Pereira, he always got stuff to say. I just laughed. I'm not aware of it. I just know that I feel really good. My biggest thing is that I got to keep taking my favorite shorts, because it's summer, to the seamstress to adjust the waist. You know, you can only pin them up so much. But everything's falling off of me from the midsection. Whatever was there, that's where I'm really leaning out. And even Laura said, hey, even in your face we can tell. So whatever is happening. It's not intentional. I'm eating like a horse. I eat a lot. The volume of food has not changed. It's just the makeup. I'm sitting on Jennifer's wheel, and Laura is pulling the group. So when I do the video on the jersey, there'll be more to show. I was just kind of trying it out. I wasn't sure what I would like it. And so once I rode it on this ride, I liked it so much, I washed it right away. so I can wear it again during the week. It's very lightweight. The air just goes through it. I really like that. But it's not lightweight to where people see your nipples and, you know, like some jerseys. No. It's robust. And I like that the back is not a sieve, meaning you don't have to wear sunblock on your back because they use a different fabric in the front versus the back. So your back is protected. I had fresher legs on this ride. Last week I had more tired legs. I went and reviewed what I did. I just did a lot more cycling last week before the Saturday ride. And so you always have to go back and look. That's why you got to keep notes however you do it. Or go back, review your stuff if you load all your stuff on Strava. My data's on Strava, but I don't go there to analyze anything. I use Golden Cheetah because I have it locally on my PC. And I just looked. I rode many more hours closer to Saturday than I normally would do the week before. So my legs had not fully recovered last week. And the reason I reviewed it was just based on how I was feeling. Everything felt harder than it should have felt. And so I went back and reviewed. It made sense. Timing is everything. You've got to make sure that you don't do your hardest rides before the rides that are important to you. You got to recuperate from prior workouts. So if you're going to do a very hard interval workout on a Tuesday, then, you know, maybe on Wednesday your legs might be a little tired. It depends on how fast you recover. Recovery is part of training. So if you work enough at it, you should be able to go multiple days, you know, based on how you load your legs, whether you use higher cadences the day before or more, you know, you balance it out. You have to learn how to save your legs, so to speak. Laura, she's doing a long pull here. She's pulling at 36 kilometers an hour, which is about 23, I believe. Yeah, 23 miles an hour, and this road is not flat. It's kind of a ninja grade, so to speak. And she's just holding it, just a steady effort. We have an injection of new riders that they do different kinds of rides. They used to ride with like most of the other groups, like Friends of Friends and whatever. And we see a lot of riders that will just shoot off the front, sit there for 5 or 10 seconds, then drift back to the back of the group. Well, I'm not sure what kind of strategy that is, because if you're going to go off the front, then go off the front and keep riding, because then you're stressing your body. Because when you stress your body beyond what it's used to, that's when it builds back stronger. So if you're just going to go off the front for 5 seconds, you better make sure that you can recuperate enough and get back in the line, because if you're attacking the group, we're not going to be up to waiting for you. We'll see you at the store. Laura's done pulling. She pulls off. You know, and so why do that in the group? Why not use that effort and help the group you're riding with move along? Meaning, if you're feeling good enough to accelerate off the front for 5 or 10 seconds, why not go and take a pull? I think it's more sustainable, you know. So riders that do non-sustainable efforts, I just ignore them, because they're not going anywhere. And that's the way you need to think. You need to go with, whether you're competing or not, you need to go with riders that can sustain the effort. Meaning, when a certain kind of rider accelerates, you know that guy can do it for some time. So that's the person you want to go with to challenge yourself. If the person is only going to accelerate for 5 seconds, what are you going with him for? You might as well just go around him and you go and keep the effort on. It may look impressive to ride off the front for 2 car lengths, then drift back, but I'm not. I was never taught to do that. I just don't see the purpose of that. It's more of a show than anything, because you're not going hard enough, long enough to do anything. You know. So if you're in the group and you're feeling good, sit at the front and pull the group, like she's doing. So Jennifer's gonna sit there for a while. She's pulling about the same effort that Laura was pulling at, let's say, and she's gonna pull for a while. That's a better work for your ability to maintain, meaning building some kind of a speed endurance or high effort endurance or threshold work or whatever, than 5 seconds. I mean, come on, sprints are longer than 5 seconds. So what are you working on? So there are a lot of riders that ride and don't really understand how to train. That's the point I'm trying to make. So don't follow everybody just because, they ride a lot. No, well, you can ride a lot and not accomplish much. You know, like, you know, there's certain rides I'll do 100 miles. That doesn't necessarily prepare me for doing a criterium. The joke that most top coaches make is, if you're a road racer and you've got a lot of endurance and you didn't work on speed, when you go to a crit, your endurance is actually baggage. It does not help you necessarily. So if you're getting rid of a specific kind of riding, you need to focus on that specific effort that you need for that ride. So this kind of riding that we do is kind of all around. You got to be able to go hard on the hills. You got to be able to jump or do whatever. So you got to do a little bit of everything. It's like a recipe where throughout the week, each day, you're mixing and matching. That's the way to do it. Don't do things for show. Focus on improving your endurance for whatever you do. I'm taking a drink here. Because experienced riders can see when you do stuff that doesn't make sense, and they just kind of wonder. They may not say anything, but they'll just look and say, okay, what is he trying to accomplish or whatever. You got to use your effort for a reason. And I'm saying it because there are some riders that come to these rides and never take a pull, and they just sit in the back the whole ride. Well, if you do that in any group, your heart rate stays low, let's say, if you fit relatively. But if you're doing it because that's all you can do, then that's different. But if you're fitter than the average rider and then you sit in the back with a low heart rate, unless that was your goal for that day, you waste your training time. Because if you were supposed to be in a higher zone and you sit in a group all day, you're not going to get that much of a workout. You would have been better off riding alone. I'm better able to tolerate these rollers over the last few months than in the past. I'm not working as hard to get over them. They seem to have flattened out somehow, so to speak. I mean, they haven't changed. I think it's just this group. I put a post on our board letting everybody know that after each of these rides, I feel younger. You know, and people give thumbs up, people laughed about it or whatever, but I really meant it. The group has just taken our cycling to a different level, and so I really love the composition of the group. I love the character. I love how we're riding. We don't restrict anybody. Whatever you want to do in the group, that's fine, but you better know what you're doing, because if you bomb a hill and you're having problems, unless it's mechanical, we're not going to wait for you. We'll see you at the store. So maybe you'll learn. So I don't believe in saying anything to people. You speak with the way you ride. That's better, because then you encourage people. You don't want to browbeat people. I want people to be intimidated. So at this point in the ride, I'm feeling good, so I decided I'm gonna pull all the way into Honea. Just keep it steady. This road kind of right now is relatively flat. Then it's gonna kick up in a bit, a slight grade. No more than 2.5% when we get near Lear Drive. But I'm keeping the pace steady. My goal is to keep my power between 250 and 350. But really heart rate wise, I want to stay around threshold. Yeah, you know, so I end up staying near the lower than threshold. I was probably at sweet spot. So I focus more on the effort, not so much the speed. You can see the road visually goes up. Strictly by feel, just kind of keeping the same effort that Laura and Jennifer have been pulling at. It's harder to gauge once the road starts going up, but I'm just keeping the same amount of pressure. And I'll periodically glance at my heart rate. And right now it's approaching sweet spot. So I figure, okay. That's Kenny, and that's Richard Lamb on the left there. It's a seasoned cyclist. We just hadn't seen him in a while. Been busy with life, doing his own thing, you know, but he's been around. We see him periodically at the bigger rides. I believe the Trek ride that we did, he was at that ride. So our group is growing nicely. I kind of want to keep it that way. I want everybody that comes to feel welcome. So I don't say anything when people do unusual stuff. Like if you go off the front for 3 seconds, you're not going to be dropping anybody if your effort is only 3 seconds and then you sit up. So I don't know what you're trying to accomplish, but those are the kind of things I see. It puzzles me. And I'm like, okay, well, let them have their fun, you know. And that's the way you want to do your group. The only rule on our group, as I've said before, is be safe. Get home to your family and your loved ones in one piece. That's all we ask. Everything else, there are no rules per se. You know, cycling is a sport. You want to do something crazy, that's your business. But there's always a tax to pay later if you don't gauge it well. I had downshifted and just spun up the lower gear. That's all I did. And then I'm going to shift up in a bit. The road is leveling out. And about probably 10 yards is going to start going somewhat downhill. Just a slight downhill, and it levels out to the light in the distance. So I'm keeping the effort the same. I shift up and just roll the larger gear. You can see the watts are dropping because the road is going down. So I'm going through the gears. That guy was turning, I believe, the car. I do these kind of efforts that I'm doing right here usually on Wednesday. I'll do like in the middle of a long ride, 2 to 3 efforts of these in different blocks, you know, 5, 10, 15-minute blocks to stress my system. See why I like this road. We've been riding at least 10 kilometers. No intersection that we needed to stop at. Going to be going left. This is the FM 2854 in Honea, Texas. Thus, that's why this road is called Egypt Honea Road. It's the road to go to Egypt or Honea. And if it weren't for cycling, I would not know these areas. I'd have no reason to come out here.
You're not.
So we're going to turn on 2854 for about probably 500 meters or something, and then we're going to turn right.
Because everybody calls them out. Yeah.
Kenny is talking about the long poles that Laura and Jennifer took.
I don't call them out either.
I'm smarter than that.
Yep.
I ride with them. I know what they can do.
I know they're
Ribbon
stronger than some
Chapel
of the men
Road.
here.
Oh, yeah.
So the women that ride with us, they hold their own. So, you know, like I said before, you bring your B game, they will make you work. You better make sure you keep yourself in shape if you want to ride with them. And for me, I don't treat them any differently. They're cyclists to me. That's it. That's all I see. I see legs and a bicycle. And when I need a wheel and they're there, I'm jumping on their wheel. That's Jennifer. Jennifer took the second long pull after Laura. And you know, you ride with people, and like I told Jennifer at one of the stops, I said, you're getting in really tight shape, but basically you're getting a V. That's what I told her. She's lengthening out.
From another mother.
That's Abby. My brother's from another mother. So you know, you ride with people and you can see them getting fitter. That's why I told Jennifer, I said, I know it was in the winter and you were wearing more stuff. I said, but I don't know, you're looking kind of lean and mean there. And she laughed about it. I told her, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. But Laura told me that her fitness is there, but her body's going in the opposite direction of where she wants it to go. That's what she told me. And so, you know, we all go through these cycles. But she looks fine to me, you know, but women are very picky, so, you know. My wife's always fussing about stuff that I'm like, it looks fine to me. So, they're more particular generally than guys. I didn't get the name of this guy with the sun and ski outfit. Get a chance to chat with Mike Barreras. Veloharmony orange. Kitted out in Rafa. Rafa flyweight. That's what you gotta wear. It's hot. So even early in the morning, it's almost 30 Celsius, 29 Celsius. That's like 80 degrees, and it feels like it. Probably 85. Yeah, 85. Almost 85. The cool thing is, a lot of our mornings start off with these little clouds that, you know, they burn off by maybe 10 o'clock or so, but it's kind of been the norm. And then they always have rain chances in our forecast, but we haven't gotten any rain. They always got a 30% and a 20% and blah, 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 you know. They're covering themselves, I guess. I'm sure it rains somewhere, but nothing. It needs to rain. That's what's going to break this. They call it a heat dome that has settled over the southern U.S. Even in California, they're having higher temperatures. So, certain parts of California. My wife has a friend out there that said it was 111 at night. Yeah, it's a dry heat, but it's still hot. 111 is hot. She must be in the desert areas of California. This is Rabon Chapel. All these roads out here, you're working. See my watts up there. I rode with Mo and them last week Tuesday. I think I mentioned it on the prior video. So I was hoping to do it again this week, but I woke up just tired. I had enough sleep, but I got up with an elevated heart rate because, on Monday I felt really good, so I went out for a spin. Nothing hard, just to sightsee. But it's not just the bike; it's everything else going on. I'm busy with work as well, so I had not recovered enough to go do their Tuesday morning run. So I just took the time off. I'm gonna try to go to a ride a little under and overtrain.
Yeah. You're welcome. You don't mind if we come along? No, come on. All right.
Somebody's asking Paul about when we leave. Laura's wearing Pactino cycling boots. I have one of the Pactino bibs. They call it their 12-hour bibs. It's fairly comfortable. But nowadays, I only get stuff that I'm gonna want to wear on long rides. I don't specifically buy anything for short rides. So when you ride with a group and you feel all right, pull your group, do the work. It's not a race. You don't need to be tactical, because in a race, no one is going to pull you to the finish line unless it's your teammates. So coming on a group ride and acting crafty and all that stuff, unless you're struggling, it's not necessary. If you come on a group ride and you're feeling good, get the workout. Stress your body beyond what you're normally used to, so that when you recover, you will be stronger than before. That's the whole point, if you're doing it right, So, because if you just do the same thing all the time, you are not going to improve. You need to rest hard, and you need to ride hard when it's a hard day. By rest hard, I mean really rest. And sometimes it calls for you not to ride at all. I'm not sure who's pulling. I don't think it's me. I think I'm sitting behind somebody. I'm up there. I think that may have been the guy who was talking to Paul. It's nice to see new faces. We see a lot of new faces, and we get the taco, and then they turn around because they're going shorter or whatever. And so I've been trying to make it a point to get their information, encourage them to come back out and join us. I'm hoping this ride grows enough to where we can have different speed groups, because I want everybody to come out and not be worried about what's going to be happening, because I don't want to slow down the faster riders, and I don't want to discourage the riders who are not as fast. Everybody's got a place. That way, when somebody goes off the front, we can work together in the back and maintain our pace, so that when they slow down, we can ride up to them. It's the South Pine Lake Road. Take us to Mail Route. So you should try to do the same thing in your group. It's okay when somebody goes off the front. Don't complain, oh, you're riding too fast. No, use that as an opportunity, if you feel like it, to ride up to them and challenge yourself. That's how you're going to improve. Don't frown on seeing a strong rider show up. That's a good thing. Look at it this way. You don't have to pay to go to a race. If you have strong riders in your area, let them help get you in shape. They'll drop you for free. You don't have to pay and drive to a USCF race to get dropped. That's the way I've always looked at it. I have no problem dropping off what we call pulling the pin when necessary. Every cyclist worth their salt has gotten dropped for one reason or another. That's not a bad thing. Unless you don't understand why it happened, then you're not learning. If you're learning, then that's a good thing. So I'm staying near the front because I want to work on this ride. And that's really why I titled it Anaerobic Threshold. I rode with more of them on that Tuesday for about 20 minutes. I rode with them. Then I finished my ride. And then I believe Thursday was a group ride, I think. So I rested on Friday and Wednesday. So this ride, I had very fresh legs because I did less than the prior weeks because I treated this week like a rest week. So every 4 to 6 weeks, I take a rest week. Doesn't mean I don't ride, but I do less. That allows you to recover from the load that you're putting your body on. And no one can tell you that when you've rested except you. That's important. This allows me to be able to ride year round and not overtrain because I take periodic breaks. At least every 4 to 6 weeks, I get a week where I drop the intensity, I'll drop the duration, reduce the number of rides, whatever it takes. That's important. And you come back fresh. So on this day, I was excited about being on the bike. Mill Route Road. You see where I'm in third position, third or fourth wheel. I'm staying close. I think Richard was pulling his pulled off. And I think John might be pulling now. I'm doing it from memory because I can't really see. That's Richard. So when you're sitting in, you need to be efficient. You can see Laura is sitting on that wheel relatively close, only working as hard as she needs to at this time. Because whatever energy you save, you can use it later. So when we got back into town off camera and then went up that last hill, Laura, Abby, Mo, there was someone else, I don't remember. They rode off, the group split. And then we had, I think, a guy named Roy and then Mike Barreras. They started to attack the climb. I mean, just real high intensity. I just rode the climb. And so John, Malbrecht, myself, John Z, Jennifer, people I can remember, plus probably one or two other riders, we rode the climb in together. But we could see the splits. So there were 3 splits on that last climb. And that's the way, so it's okay. So then what you do the next time, you decide, okay, I'm going to be in the second group, meaning second group on the road, or I'm going to go with the leaders next time. That's what I'm talking about. You want your groups to have varying abilities because that would make the group more dynamic. That's the kind of group I like to ride with. I don't want a group that everybody wants to control. Oh, we only got to do 20 miles an hour. That is boring. What the heck is that? Please. You got gears on your bike. We need to ride. So we don't set any pace. We just ride. We just go. We do whatever we feel like. That's the way it is. Somebody's going, you want to go with them, knock yourself out. You don't, just watch them go. Wish them well. You know, as Mike Barreras always says, wish them well on their endeavors. If you choose not to go with them. But if you want to go with them, go. There'll always be riders that want to go faster. Don't restrict them. Let them go. That's what brings them out. They're coming to have fun. It's not a job. We don't need anybody trying to control everybody. That's boring. I don't do that. It's important. I'm saying that because groups have too many rules sometimes, and that's how they die. Because nobody wants to get up on a Saturday to be restricted. We get enough of that nonsense at work. This is leisure. We need to come and have fun. So we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen in this group. People want to have fun, let them go. And you feel like it, you chase them down. That's a nice way to do an interval. Use them as a rabbit. That's the kind of group that we're building, where anything goes, just be safe. So I'm sitting in, my heart rate is right at probably zone 3, I would say. The bottom of zone 3, top of zone 1. Most of my endurance rides, I'm in the upper 140 beats per minute. The endurance ride is easy to use heart rate because you're riding long enough to where your heart rate catches up. But the power right now is higher than my endurance power. We're approaching the FM 2854. This is the last little bump as we leave Mill Route. And this time of year, the Mill Route area is very, very nice. Even later, because you've got all these trees, so you're covered. But we came back on Spring Branch. I like Spring Branch. It's not that bad. It's not as open. It's not as covered as this, but it's got some trees and foliage. It's just a nice, quiet road. FM 2854 heading towards Montgomery, Texas. Been going faster and faster coming into Taco Corner on this ride. I believe, let's see, what does it say? We have a duration here. Yeah, 50 minutes and 56 seconds. The ride to Taco Corner from Alden Bridge, including the warm-up and everything, is probably about 21, 22 miles or something like that, I believe. It's about 35K. I'm rounding up. So 22, 23 miles, we're doing it in about a little under an hour. And with the wind and the grades, yeah, that's pretty nice. Most of our rides were between 20 to 23 miles an hour on relatively rolling terrain. This part of the road is a slight grade. It says 1%, and it's gonna curve, and we'll always have wind blowing. You know, we're dealing with it. It's a nice little drag, but you know, lately we've been riding at like 22, 23. And I was like, man, we've definitely increased our pace. So it's nice to see. Because I look at some of the old films, we didn't used to go this fast. Maybe 28K, you know, 17 miles an hour, 18 miles an hour. Now we're doing 22. 21, 22 into the wind on a grade. That's nice. So if your group can do this in this kind of terrain, we could probably do 100 miles in under 5 hours, let's say, or just about 5 hours. That's pretty good. So as the weather gets better, we will increase our duration. But right now it's just too hot to keep people out here in this heat. So we leave a little earlier. We're leaving at 7. It's a good time to leave because anything earlier, it's a little inconvenient for some people. You know, I ride there, and I think Laura rides there. There are quite a few riders that ride there. Mike Pereira rides there. So 7's a good sweet spot right now. They leave at 6:30 at some of the weekday rides, but we kind of want to keep the time consistent. So 7 in the summer, and then maybe in the winter we'll do 8 o'clock or something like that when it's colder. I think I may be pulling at this point, if I remember correctly. I think I took us into Montgomery. Yeah, I'm pulling. I think I'm slowing down right now. Just coasting probably at 0 watts. We're approaching the red line. Those disc brakes making all that noise that comes from out of dirt, or they're not adjusted properly. When they're misaligned, they will become a musical instrument. So Kenny was saying it's been like that for a while. You got to get it adjusted. They're not supposed to make that noise like that. When it's wet initially, they get noisy, but once they dry off, they're fine. But that noise indicates that something's off. The disc and the caliper are not lined up correctly. Because even rim brakes will make noise too when they're dirty or your rim is out of true or something and you brake. Yeah, I'm in the front, so I waved this driver up because she acted like she's late for something. Come camp on the side instead of getting behind us. That's what we're laughing at. I told Richard that, no, it wasn't Richard. Somebody back by me, I said, late for nothing. Always rushing around, going nowhere. They behave as if to say when they left home, somebody told them no one else will be using the roads. So So I sit at the front here. I believe I ride all the way up that climb. I guess I was feeling fine because I don't know why I would do that. That's a lot of pulling for this group. We got enough people here. But when I'm feeling good, I just work. I do the work because that's the whole reason I get on the bike. I want to work hard and get home tired. You know, and then rest up. I don't put too many hours into cycling like others do, so I really like to maximize my hours. As I've said before, if I'm going to miss a workout, it'll be a recovery ride or something like that, but I don't like to miss the hard workout if I can avoid it, unless I'm tired. There's no point in trying to do a hard workout when you're tired. You're just going to dig a deeper hole for yourself. So I must have been feeling good. I'm sitting up there at 350 plus watts. So for us, we got to be climbing at least 300 to 400 watts on these little rollers. You know, at a decent pace. Not going very hard, 18 miles an hour. I don't know if it's windy. I don't think it's windy. It's a little breezy, but not windy. But I'm doing the same effort I was doing back on Honea-Egypt Road. Basically, sweet spot effort. So sweet spot the threshold, that's the range. You can get really good value. You just got to identify where your lie. So so right now I'm right bumping up close to the threshold. You don't need to be exactly there. You just need to be in that area to get the benefit. You can stay there long enough. So the watts are going down because the road is leveling off. I believe I'm going to shift up and ride through the gears, but you'll see the watts go back up. We're going to level off and then go downhill. Then the speeds will go up, of course. This is Lone Star Parkway that we're on. FM 2854 ends at Highway 105 and the light back there. And then when you get across, this becomes Lone Star Parkway. This is kind of a horseshoe kind of road. It curves to the left, goes across 149 and hits 105 near the high school. It's a heavily cycled route. So we're going to be turning right. Jennifer's easing off. Taco corners down the hill. So the reason I did so much work early in the ride was I wanted to get myself nice and tired because I wasn't sure I was going to ride on Sunday. I did end up riding on Sunday, but I did my own thing. I just rode very easily by myself because after this ride, my body was tired. We didn't really sprint. We're just riding. I'm just riding. There's a guy on my left. We're just riding into Taco. So do the work. Don't just sit in the group. If it's your hard day, stay in the top third of the group and get your nose in the wind. But no matter what, keep all the doctors fired.
Actually pretty good. It reminds me more of San Diego, Mexico than what I had here. All right, come on. Yeah.